we were talking about how many people you had working for you in Perpetual Energy and what you think the future is for Perpetual and what the future could be if you had great policy in Canada.
Yeah, well, we have about 50 working directly with us, and but really, it's about the activity in the field that really raises the jobs numbers. And our rule of thumb is sort of, depending on the type of activity, 100 to 450 people are employed every time we start up a rig. So we have 2 rigs running right now with Rubellite, which Perpetual is managing. And, so that's a lot of jobs on an ongoing basis. And our goal would be to keep those rigs going. And, we're actually at a point where it's hard to bring employees back because we've had a real exodus of labor, I guess, from our industry, partly driven by COVID and partly driven by government policy. But so there's a lot of uncertainty on prices always, but at this moment in time, it supports actually additional drilling, which is good.
So Sue, if you were the Prime Minister of Canada, what would you do to get jobs in the economy moving, and in particular in the resource sector?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think you can start by looking at what's gone wrong and why we are suffering a little bit and why we have suffered and why energy is unaffordable right now or starting to get to be. So, it's all in a cycle. The more you drill, well, there's always depletion. So you always have to keep investing capital. And so when we have now been in this period of serious underinvestment, the last really 5 years on the gas side and probably similar on the oil side, that is actually depleting production. And that's what's making the price signal is, that we don't have enough supply to meet the demand and that, prices need to go up. And that's actually what we're seeing. So, so how can policy be better? I mean, there's a global macro and a Canadian macro, I think. And Canada can be a key supplier to the world, and we have so much opportunity with increasing our exports of clean energy, particularly on the LNG front. Like the amount of offtake our resource actually would support is almost a 40 or 50% increase of production of natural gas from the basin. And, our resource probably supports the same kind of thing on the oil side. And if we actually had policies that were favorable to getting pipelines back on and making those capital investments, I think that would be hugely beneficial to Canadians who at a provincial level actually own the resource, and then also Canadians that are supporting the industry with services and manufacturing of pipe and just, there really is a very significant ripple effect. So, and natural resources are one of the only places Canada can actually be like a net exporter. And that's actually how you get your economy growing.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, we just got about a minute left. I know some activists have got into the financial community to try and strangle the financial support for the resource sector. What would you say to them in about 43 seconds that we have left?
Yeah, well, I just say to government, don't be fooled by this. These are activists spreading false narratives, and they're very well funded. We just had the Allen report come out a few weeks ago, and you can actually just see the tangled web of intervention. And what's driving that intervention is really challenging to think about. But don't be fooled by that. Canadians are actually generating the cleanest energy in the world and ever cleaner. Oil and gas is an important part of that. And oil and gas is an important part of serious problems that we have in our country with Indigenous communities. And we have, they fell puppet to some of these false narratives, and they're taking their voice back and saying, resource development in Canada is really important to our communities. We work in partnership with great companies, and we want to continue to do that. And so Canadian government step up and and help us become self-sufficient. And I hope that Indigenous community narrative will be louder and louder and will be heard, because it really is the true narrative.